Melton, Palermo, Rowe, Bagley, Harding, Johnson. Mr. President.
Here. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remarks by Councilmember Melton.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll just be quick because actually I think we have some proclamations to read that I think are far more important than any of my remarks and more impactful on the city of Omaha. I just want to say it's just such a beautiful day. I absolutely love the weather in October. We are very fortunate to live here in the Midwest where we get 4 seasons. And so I would just encourage everybody at this time, it's not too hot, it's not too cold. Go out and visit one of our wonderful parks or ride on some of our wonderful trails that we have here in Omaha, because it's just a great time to enjoy what our city has to offer. Thank you.
An affidavit of publication is on file for the pre-council and city council meeting, and a current copy of the Open Meeting Act is posted in a white binder on the east wall of the legislative chambers.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Omaha City Council. We appreciate having you here and look forward to your testimony on our items today. If you have a cell phone, we appreciate if you turn it to off or at least to vibrate. And today we do start with 2 proclamations. First, I'll recognize Councilmember Bagley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Whereas the United Way of the Midlands has a history in Omaha going back to 1923, when the United States was just 5 years out of World War I, being known at that time as the Omaha Community Check. And whereas in 1975, the Omaha Community Chess became the United Way of the Midlands with a focus on connecting people and resources in the metro. And whereas the United Way of the Midlands partnered with the AFL-CIO after World War II to develop creative ways to rebuild strong communities across our nation. And in 1981, partnered with the United Way of Council Bluffs to ensure the entire metro benefited from donor funding. And in 1987, began a joint fundraising effort with the Community Health Agency's Drive of Nebraska. And whereas through the 1990s, 2000s, and today, the United Way of the Midlands has remained an important part of Omaha's metro area, raising more than $548 million in donations and providing families, children, and seniors with needed assistance for more than 90 years. And whereas in the 2021-2022 fiscal year, the United Way of the Midlands is investing $20.6 million into more than 100 nonprofit programs in the metro area. And as of 2021, more than 93 cents of every dollar donated is allocated to program funding. And whereas the United Way of the Midlands believes that together we can unite our community's caring spirit, and whereas the city of Omaha is running its own United Way campaign drive from September 27th through October 8th, 2021. And now, therefore, we, the City Council of the City of Omaha, do hereby recognize the United Way of the Midlands and congratulate them for their meaningful work in the Omaha community dating back to 1923, and applaud the efforts of all city employees who have donated their time, talents, and/or treasures, and thereby contributed to the United Way of the Midlands' continued success. In witness whereof, we have set our hands and caused the official seal of the City of Omaha to be affixed on this 5th day of October 2021. And I was going to present this to Mr. Evan Schmeitz of the United Way, but he is excused today because he is out at the hospital where his wife is delivering their first child. So I will deliver this to him today. Thanks, Mr. President.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Bagley. And the second proclamation is one that I requested, and I don't know that I'll need to read it today. I'm not sure she'd want me to read it, but I did think it was important for us to recognize a constituent of mine, Thelma Sutcliffe. She was born in Benson, Nebraska on October 1st, 1906. So last Friday was Thelma's 115th birthday. which now makes her the oldest living American in the entire country. So I thought that was worth noting, that distinguished citizen and that distinguished milestone that she has met. And we'll have a proclamation signed by all of us delivered to her where she resides in District 1. So happy birthday, Thelma.
Item 6, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Maverick Landing located northeast of 72nd and Grover Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on vote on number 6 is today. Proponents, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Brent Beller, 1140 West Center Road, on behalf of the project applicant. Before you today is the preliminary plat for this location. Many of us know this as what formerly was the Cocoa Key site. So there's actually another map that's a little bit better. Here's Grover Street on the south. On the west is 72nd Street. Just to the south here is the interstate interchange. Obviously, this is a very important piece of property in our city as far as what's going on there. And with the receivership with Cocoa Keys, the applicant was able to acquire this property from the receiver. The plan for this is to subdivide it into 6 separate lots. There's lots 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then lot 6 is this larger tract where most of the hotel exists today. This site will be demoed, scraped. Lot 6 will be a future multifamily. You'll have hotel on lot 4, and then retail, fast food, office, depending on the users when the time comes. So pretty exciting. I think before all is said and done, we'll probably be before you again requesting some amount of TIF just for the extension of the various public improvements. One of the key things for this particular development is the reinstallation of 70th Street, which will go right through the center of the property to give some connectivity between the Haskell Street on the north and then Grover on the south. So with that, we're here for any questions. We appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Any other proponents today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Motion approved, second.
Roll call.
Melton.
Yes.
Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe.
Yes.
Bagley.
Aye.
Harding.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 6 is approved, 7-0. Item 7, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Miracle Hills Shopping Center located northwest of 114th Street and West Dodge Road. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing and vote on number 7 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
I'm going to move to approve, but I really wish someone would have been here because that's actually one of the spots in my district that borders the Brinker Hardy's district that I think it's very exciting to see some growth and some improvements in this area. And I would have really liked to kind of hear what they were planning to do and have it presented. I don't want to hold it up because it's much needed. And I don't know if Mr. Harding can share any more with us that he may know because he works right in that area. But I just wanted to make that comment that I wish Perkins Properties had sent somebody down to speak about that, just like in the previous agenda item for Maverick Landing, they had somebody down here. So I guess I'm just disappointed. Yep, there was
There's a motion and a second. Mr. Fansel, is there anything you'd like to add from the planning department's perspective on that? Because I do agree, it'd be nice to have the applicant here in this respect, or maybe if Ms. Melton has any questions of you could answer.
Sure. Dave Fanslaw, City Planning. I'm not sure what you asked me, but I was jotting down a note. I think what the planning department can do is, as we're crafting our planning board recommendation report, as we're having conversations with the development team, this has happened more recently than not that somebody hasn't shown up. So I think we'll do a better job, or we'll start doing that job of telling people, if you got something in front of city council would appreciate somebody presenting it. This, if you have any questions about the development, underused site, kind of been deteriorating for a number of years. The developer proposes to re-subdivide it to create a couple more lots out along 114th Street to develop. Very, very supportive. I just think because it's so underutilized,
And I think the people that live around there and the businesses that are around there would have loved to have more information. In fact, as a council member, I would have liked to have been at least contacted, and I could have shared the information for them if they didn't feel the need to come down. So, thank you, Mr. Fanslaw.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second. Roll call.
Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 7 is approved, 7-0. Item 8, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat for Blue Stem Prairie located southeast of 51st Avenue and Mary Street. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing and vote on number 8 is today. Proponents, please.
Hello, Aaron Grody, Lamprey Nearson, 14710 West Dodge Road. Here on behalf of the developer Habitat for Humanity to present for the Blue Stem Prairie project. That up there, zoom out just a hair, I think. This is a 51st and Mary Ave is described as. It's the former housing project owned by the city of Omaha. Habitat has worked to do redevelopment plans. Our proposal is for the preliminary plat with 72 lots. We will be presenting a final plat hopefully here soon with 70 residential lots to fill in this space with leaving the existing drainage way feature in the site and working with Public Works and planning on this. So, any questions, be happy to answer.
Thank you. Any other proponents that want to speak today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Roll call.
Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 8 is approved, 7-0. Items 9 and 10 can be considered together for Avante, located at 195th and Fort Streets. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval. Item 9, a resolution to approve the preliminary plat. Item 10, a resolution to approve a waiver to the present development zone specifications of the urban development element of the City of Omaha Master Plan.
Public hearing and vote on numbers 9 and 10 are today. Mr. Beller, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Brent Beller, 1140 West Center Road, on behalf of the project applicant Falcone Land Development. Going out west now to about 204th and Fort Street is a new piece of property currently owned by the Gotch family. Client had acquired this earlier this year. This is 120 acres. If you know where Indian Creek Golf Course is, which is right here, we're just north of there. There's going to be a lot of development activity out here, mostly in connection with Fort Street. So, actually, the preliminary plat that you're looking at, it's hard to tell. I'm sorry, this is small. But the alignment of Fort Street is the biggest issue out here. So there's a partnership or lots of conversations between the City of Omaha, the county, and a lot of developers out in this area as to how Fort Street gets constructed and paved to allow for all this development. And then important to note out there is a future park, to Ms. Melton's comment earlier, up in the northwest corner. So with that, we're here for any questions, and we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you. Any other proponents today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Roll call.
Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0. Item 11, to consider a Class K catering liquor license for Green Onion Lounge located at 11414 Davenport Street.
Public hearing and vote on number 11 is today. I believe we have the applicant by Zoom. Ms. Caniglia, we'll get you off. There you are. I think you're off mute now.
All right.
Then just your name and address for the record.
Crystal Caniglia, address 11414 Davenport Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68154.
Thank you. Here to answer questions, right?
Yes, I'm here to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Any other proponents today?
There, John Latka, 409 South 17th Street, legal counsel for the Green Onion, also here to answer any questions.
Good, thank you. Other proponents on number 11? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Roll call.
Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Item 11 is approved, 7-0.
Thanks.
Consent agenda. Any member of the city council may cause any item placed on the consent agenda to be removed. Items removed from the consent agenda shall be taken up by the city council immediately following the consent agenda in the order in which they were removed, unless otherwise provided by the city council rules of order.
The public hearings on agenda items 12 and 13 were held on September 28th. Roll call.
Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0.
There's been a request to take items number 19 and number 23 off consent, so we'll do those separately. First, we'll have the public hearings on agenda items number 14 through 18, 20 through 22, and 24 through 26. If you wish to address the city council regarding these items, please come to the microphone, indicate the agenda item number you wish to address, identify yourself by name, address, and who you represent, and if you are a proponent or an opponent. Seeing none, public hearings are closed. Roll call. Just like the record show, it's 14 to 18, 20 to 22, and 24 to 26.
Melton. Palermo. Rowe. Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0. Item 19, a resolution to approve the contract with Pave 911 LLC in the amount of $36,800 for the 2021-2022 sidewalk snow and ice removal in the northwest quadrant of the city of Omaha.
Also announce up front, it's the council's intention to withdraw this item so that it can be matched up with other similar items pertaining to snow removal that we anticipate coming throughout the city on October 26th, to have more information about it and consider them at the same time.
Yes, and so I would like to move to withdraw number 19 so that it can be considered with the rest of the quadrants of our city, and we can have all of the information in regards to the snow removal for people that, this is for people that don't remove snow from their sidewalks, and the city has to come out and do it, and then they're assessed.
Second. Roll call.
Melton.
Yes.
Palermo. Rowe. Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed, 7-0. Item 23, a resolution to approve the real estate purchase agreement with Omaha Housing Authority for the sale of 2 parcels of land located at 3030 and 3031 Upland Parkway in the amount of $1. Planning Board and Planning Department recommend approval.
Public hearing on number 23 is today. Proponents, please. Mr. Lukash.
Yeah. Hi, Bill Lukash, Omaha Planning Department, here to answer any questions if you have some.
Thank you.
Brian Hanson on behalf of the Omaha Housing Authority, also here to answer any questions.
And your address too, just for the record.
Sorry, 1823 Harney Street, Omaha, Nebraska, 68102.
Thank you. Any other proponents that want to speak today? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing's closed. Mr. Palermo, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had requested to take this agenda item off because I had questions. And you might ask, well, seems like a pretty piece of affordable dirt for $1, but it's much more than that. We all know in the city of Omaha, we still have Southside Terrace, which hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully will be moving in the right direction to develop this area the way it should be for the residents that live in District 4. So I had a lot of questions. This came, although we've been talking about it for years, it came quicker on the agenda than I thought, so I had asked to take it off. But sometimes in this seat, you ask for some help from the outside community. You ask for some help from people that work within the city to answer questions, and they quickly come to that call. So I want to thank OHA, the Law Department, Planning, Canopy South, and some other entities that were in the room to answer completely, and maybe not always the answer I wanted to hear, but completely the questions I had. I feel very comfortable moving forward. We know how important this project is. We know how far behind this project is to move forward. And there's a lot of us here at the city that are pot committed, you would say, in the investment to make sure we see this project through. So with that, I feel very confident and hopeful that we can move in the right direction. I make a motion to approve.
There's a motion and a second, and I'll just add that I'd like to thank Councilman Palermo for those questions this morning and bringing the parties together. That there are a lot of moving parts on this potential project, but so much potential for our entire city. I toured the facility recently with Canopy South and sit on this property and saw the building in question here, and anything we can do to keep this project moving forward and potentially leveraging a multi-million-dollar federal grant again to really have this become our next effort in South Omaha in the spring would leverage, I think, private dollars and also city funding too. So a big opportunity for all of us. Roll call.
Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe.
Yes.
Bagley.
Aye.
Harding.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
item 23 is approved, 7-0.
Thank you.
Item 27, a resolution to approve a special billing rate for sewer service provided to Bergen Mercy Hospital located at 7500 Mercy Road.
Public hearing and vote on number 27 is today. Any proponents? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Motion to approve.
Roll call.
Melton. Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe.
Yes.
Bagley.
Aye.
Harding. Johnson. Mr. President,
Abstain.
motion passed 6-0. Festerson abstains. Item 28, an ordinance to amend all portions of special ordinance number 10304, levying a special tax and assessment to cover the cost of clearing snow and ice from sidewalks in district number SWR 2021-01.
Public hearing on number 28 is today. Proponents, please. Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 29, an ordinance to approve the 406 Woolworth Avenue Townhomes Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Agreement.
Public hearing on number 29 is today. Proponents, please.
Yes, good afternoon. Don Seaton, Omaha City Planning, and I'm here for any questions you may have on this agreement.
Thank you. Any other proponents?
Hi, I'm David Burton. I'm the owner, 14993 Charles Circle. Also here for any questions.
Thank you. Other proponents at number 29? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 30, an ordinance to approve the East Side North 18 Ohio Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Agreement.
Public hearing on number 30 is today. Proponents, please.
Yes, Don Seaton, Omaha City Planning, and again, I'm here for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Other proponents?
Hi, good afternoon. Matthew Cavanaugh, Executive Director of Holy Name Housing Corporation, 4324 Fort Street, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any other proponents on number 30? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 31, an ordinance to approve the East Side 1620 Clark Tax Increment Financing Redevelopment Agreement.
Public hearing on number 31 is today. Proponents, please.
Yes, Don Seaton, Omaha City Planning, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Other proponents on number 31?
Hi again, Matthew Cavanaugh, Executive Director of Holy Name Housing Corporation, 4324 Fort Street. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any other proponents? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 32, an ordinance to approve an agreement with the Nebraska State Probation District 4A and to authorize funding from the fiscal year 2020 Project Safe Neighborhoods Grant.
Public hearing on number 32 is today. Proponents, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, sitting members of the council, Deputy Chief Anna Colon, Omaha Police Department, 68102, and I'm available for questioning.
Thank you, Deputy Chief. Any other proponents today on number 32? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 33, an ordinance to approve an agreement with Douglas County and to authorize funding from the fiscal year 2020 Stop Violence Against Women Grant.
Public hearing on number 33 is today. Proponents, please.
Deputy Chief Anna Colon, Omaha Police Department, available for questioning.
Thank you. Any other proponents on number 33? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Item 34, an ordinance to approve an agreement with Douglas County and to authorize funding from the fiscal year 2020 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant.
Public hearing on number 34 is today. One more time. Proponents, please.
One more time, sir. Deputy Chief Anna Cologne, Omaha Police Department, available for questioning.
Thank you. Any other proponents on number 34? Seeing none, any opponents? Public hearing is closed.
Non-action items, items 35 through 66, do not require public hearing or city council consideration at this meeting, but will be placed on a future agenda for public hearing and or vote. The reason for non-action is noted after the item on the agenda, as well as the date the item is expected to appear on agenda for consideration.
Second, roll call.
Melton.
Yes.
Palermo.
Yes.
Rowe. Bagley. Harding. Johnson. Mr. President.
Yes.
Motion passed 7-0. Meeting is adjourned at 2:25.